There's no way City don't win that game on Wednesday. In my opinion, there's no way. Like, everything is set up perfectly for them. They're playing at home. They've played very well against Real Madrid in that first leg, and they've got the man himself. Haaland needs to step up on Wednesday. If Haaland steps up, they win easily. Manchester City are very close to doing something that only one other Premier League club has been able to do. Manchester United winning the treble. Will Manchester City be able to be the second club in English football to do it? To ever do it? Let's find out. Let's find out with Tifo Football. I'll leave the link to the channel in the description.
For the past 5 years, a familiar question has been asked as the English football season draws to its conclusion. Can Pep Guardiola's Manchester City win the Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Champions League treble?
Can they do it? I think they can. They're top of the Premier League, semi-final of the Champions League. They've drew against Real Madrid and the Bernabeu. Now they're going to play at home, which they are favourites to win in. And then the final of the FA Cup against Man United, where they are also the favourites. Can they do it? Man City can do it. Will they do it? That's the biggest questions. Because this City team has been notorious for bottling this treble idea, this treble dream for a very long time now. Can they do it? They can. Will they do it? That's a bit different.
They've never managed it before, often failing in strange ways and in unlikely areas.
There it is.
But could that change this year?
That's a different. Can they do it, and will they do it?
Guardiola and City are currently duelling with Arsenal for the Premier League title, through to the FA Cup semi-finals, and in the latter stages of the Champions League.
Facts.
Their chances of success in each of these competitions are high.
Yeah.
Arsenal currently lead the Premier League, but have played a game more than
Not anymore.
City and are yet to visit the Etihad Stadium. In the FA Cup, they will face Championship side Sheffield United in their semi-final, then one of Brighton or Manchester United.
They're through to the FA Cup final now, where they'll play Man United, which they are favourite to win against. And in their last game against United, they won, what was it, 6-3? Ridiculous.
If they progress through to the final. In the Champions League, they're currently engaged in a tie with Bayern Munich, but they would appear to comfortably be the best side left in the competition.
They beat Bayern, best side in the competition, even against Real Madrid.
And yet this rationale itself is familiar. Every season since 2017-18, the same could be said. And yet City have always produced a stumble. So
they won the Premier League, knocked out of the FA Cup, and Champions League quarter-final. Won the Premier League, won the League Cup, Champions League quarter-final. Won the league as well. That's when they had that domestic treble. Second in the Premier League, semis, won the League Cup, quarter-finals. First in the Prem, semis of the FA Cup, won the League Cup, final Champions League, they lost. So yeah, they're always there, they're always close.
Well, there are perhaps a few factors. In the FA Cup, City's draw is clearly favourable. They've been drawn against an easier semi-final opponent and would be considered favourites against Manchester United or Brighton were they to progress.
There it is.
In the Premier League, City not only host the decisive games between the two sides, but also have the easier run-in. According to Soccer Power Index rankings published by 538, which are calculated according to the relative strength of opponents, City have the 5th easiest run-in, whereas Arsenal have the 8th hardest. City's season has also occurred under less scrutiny, which seems beneficial now that the end is here. Arsenal have enjoyed as much as an 8-point lead in the Premier League, and at various points it's appeared to be their title to lose, with City's interest lying in other competitions. Arsenal haven't won the Premier League in almost 20 years, so their performances have been scrutinised to a far greater extent. By contrast, City have avoided much of the energy-sapping pressure that characterised their recent rivalry with Liverpool.
I'm not too sure about that one. I think City have been very scrutinised. I guess.
It's not unreasonable to conclude that the nature of that rivalry drained plenty of emotional energy away from City's European pursuits and has helped in part to derail the quest for that elusive treble. It's a small matter, but it's not insignificant. During those years, City and Liverpool demanded an unprecedented level of excellence from one another. Arsenal haven't yet reached that stage, nor has the relationship between the two fan bases deteriorated to the same point. And another factor in City's favour is obviously Erling Haaland. By the second...
That man. I said it at the beginning of at the end of last season in the summer transfer window. He was going to be the difference maker. I said in my Champions League prediction, he is going to be the tiebreaker. City have always come close, but something that's always happened with them, for example, Sergio Aguero was never able to quite have the same performances that he had in the Premier League, in the Champions League, for example. Haaland is notorious for being a Champions League mentality monster, and he's broken the Premier League goal scoring record. I generally believe, as good as this team is, and as they've consistently been in those stages, now that they have Erling Haaland, I think that's going to be the extra step, the extra baby step to help them make it free.
Second week of April, Haaland had already scored 30 goals in the Premier League, and the Norwegian is on course to be the first City player to win a Golden Boot under Guardiola. Now, the availability of a volume goal scorer of Haaland's standard is a rare luxury, and one which, even with Sergio Aguero, City have rarely had. The most
do I know ball? Do I know ball? Let me know in the comments, man.
goals Aguero ever scored for the club was 33 back in 2016-17. Already, with maybe another 15 games left to play, Haaland has scored 42 times.
That's disgusting.
He provides an astonishing level of efficiency that City have really needed in the Champions League. Across the 5-year span in question, Manchester City's European history looks, superficially at least, like a hard luck tale. And while they have been unfortunate, there are two themes that bind all of those games: wastefulness and City's failure to exert true attacking pressure commensurate with their talent. In
the attacking pressure which will be provided by none other than Erling Haaland himself.
They were beaten by Klopp's Liverpool. City lost 3-0 without registering a shot on target in the first leg.
They lost 3-0 and they conceded all 3 goals in the first 30 minutes.
Aguero was injured, and without him, City enjoyed 66% possession, produced 27 crosses, enjoyed plenty of midfield control, but didn't hit the target with a single shot. Fast forward a year to a quarter-final against Tottenham. City would lose on away goals, and in the decisive second leg, they would concede 3 times to Spurs, despite their opponents amassing an
losing to Tottenham is disgusting.
XG rating of just 0.8 on the night. They were on the wrong side of VAR in that game, but missed a penalty in the first leg, had numerous other chances to score an away goal, and might have scored many more than 4 in the second game. 12 months later, they were a beaten finalist, losing 1-0 to Chelsea.
This final, I think, has been... Was it 2020 or was it 2021? I think it's 2021. This final was their biggest, I think, wastefulness. They were the better team against Chelsea. They had beaten them in the Premier League before that year. And they lost to a Chelsea team that was meh.
Were elements of misfortune, but City managed a single shot on target.
And Kai Havertz was the one to do it for Chelsea. Kai Havertz. Oh my goodness.
In a game where Guardiola began with a false 9, shifted Kevin De Bruyne's position and started without either Rodri or Fernandinho.
Yeah, mistake.
If Erling Haaland has a strength beyond his goals, then it's in the clarity that he provides. His virtues are so obvious and inarguable that they leave little room for that kind of experimentation, even for Guardiola. 1 year on, in the semi-final second leg against Real Madrid, City conceded twice in 90 seconds to lose a 5-3 lead, and would then lose the game in extra time. It was a freak occurrence, but
it's 2022. 2021, Chelsea 2022, City 2023 this year.
City should have survived, having underperformed their XG of 1.93 that night and missed a host of chances in the first leg. Now, single game XG is often misleading, yes. But across those 2 games, City, without a feature forward in the Lewandowski, Messi, Ronaldo or Benzema class, were clearly poorer for that one floor. Haaland's efficiency in front of goal should better protect City if further bad luck is lurking.
He is the difference maker. And this game on Wednesday will set Haaland as arguably one of the best players of all time, and going forward in his career, or maybe I don't think there's no way, there's no way City don't win that game on Wednesday. In my opinion, there's no way. Like everything is set up perfectly for them. They're playing at home. They've played very well against Real Madrid in that first leg, and they've got the man himself. Haaland needs to step up on Wednesday. If Haaland steps up, they win easily
this season. His role
Not
is
easily,
so well
but you know what I
defined
mean.
that it's unlikely that he'll ever be moved aside to make room for a false nine, as in 2020, nor is Guardiola liable to interfere with his hugely profitable understanding with Kevin De Bruyne. Now, of course, none of this amounts to a guarantee, and yet with this more obvious strength, there seem to be fewer things which can go wrong for Manchester City in 2023. It's a strange virtue, but one which might see them finally capture the treble.
Yeah.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing.
They're very, very, very close. Yo, shout out to this video from Tifo. They always make great content. If you're gonna go and support them, I'll leave the link to their video in the description below. And yeah, I'll see you guys very soon. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys soon.